when you feel like you're nothing, but you wanna be. Want you to trust me if you wanna be something.
That's right. Let's go. Yeah, when you're feeling down and you're out, like you got nothing but doubt, you're alone in the crowd, just trying to figure it out. All of this cloud and this money got you feeling left out. Listen up to me now, every word that's out of my mouth. Wake up, it's me. You're gonna follow your dreams, or are you just gonna be another cog in the scene? You feel the hope in this beat, yeah, the hope that you need to proceed and be exactly what you want it to be. I feel right and I'm proud, hype and I'm loud. I'ma shout all about how I feel in the now. Ain't nobody ever gonna try to change me till I'm dead, pushing up daisies. I'm alone in the crowd, I won't feel down. I got hope right now, and I know I'll be found. I don't really care just what all other haters gotta say. I know everything I do is gonna make them fade away.
And when you feel like you're nothing, but you wanna be something, well, all you really need is hope. I just want you to trust me if you wanna be something, then all you really need is hope.
Let's go, it's what you need when you're down, need when you're out. It's what you need when you're sad and when you feel left out. You feel an energy drop and then creeps out, but with a little bit of hope you can figure it out. Keep your head high even when you're down inside. Through the pain you fight and through the painful nights you keep striving, keep trying, keep driving, rising, keep thriving, surviving. Nothing's in your way but yourself, don't need nobody's help. You can make it through this hell, take it one step at a time, one step as you climb. If you fail you'll be fine, get back up to the grind and never lose sight of your mission. Be driven, this life is a prison if you don't have vision. You're in it to win it, so get it, don't miss it. Your chances now, so be something somehow. Don't let yourself down. That's right. Sometimes all we really need is hope.
Hey, good morning, everybody. How are you guys doing? I know it's been like a week and a half, 2 weeks. I don't even know. How is everybody going? Hi, Seal. Hi, Delana. Hi, In the Bushes. Hi, BC. Hello, hello, hello. So today we are going to talk about Whitney. We have talked about Whitney before, just very briefly in passing. We showed her flyers during a video that we were doing about Sebastian and about Elijah. Whitney has been missing since March the 7th. So she has been gone for a very, very long time now for a 16-year-old girl. It's unclear where exactly she could possibly have gone. She did leave on her own accord. It still is just a matter of knowing that she is somewhere safe, knowing that she is alive and being cared for, and not in a bad situation. Her family is extremely concerned about her. Hi, Emily. Hi, Roberta. And so we are going to talk about that case today. I do also want to remind you guys that Elijah is still missing as well. Here is a little video that somebody made of him. Oops. So I'm not going to play the music because the music is copyright. However, do want to show his little face. He still has not been located, you guys, and he is missing out of Two Rivers, Wisconsin. This is the one where the mom sent him to go with the boyfriend so that he could learn how to be a man. He has still not been found. They are still doing these extensive searches for him for his location. I think it's pretty clear at this point that he is likely deceased. Just a matter of if it was foul play or not, and if it was foul play, what they could have possibly done with him. There is no chance that a 3-year-old is surviving out in the wilderness as long as has passed now, if he did happen to wander out on his own. The only hope for him being alive is if he would have wandered off, if they could have if somebody could have picked him up and found him and kept him. But in that situation, what type of area would he be in? It's just devastating. I know his family, his extended family is still out there hoping and praying that they can find some type of location for him. They are doing searches day after day after day after day looking for him or looking for any clues of him, and they're just not finding anything. His mom and her boyfriend have both been arrested. They are both in jail, not for necessarily his disappearance, but for child neglect and abuse and things like that. Um, but not for, you know, whatever could have possibly happened to him at this point. And so it's heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking for his family, his extended family that this is another one of those situations where if mom didn't want him, if she couldn't handle him, somebody else would have taken him. Somebody else would have taken him in and loved him and cared for him and did all the things. And we say that in so many cases, if you cannot take care of your child, if there's some type of reason, if they're too much for you to handle, if something is going on, reach out for help and tell somebody, tell your family members, tell your friends. Somebody, I guarantee you, somebody in your life will take your child so that you don't cause harm to them and so that baby can live on. Whether it's the state, whether it's a family member, whoever, somebody will take your child. I promise you that. It does not ever have to end the way that these cases do day after day after day after day after day. But he's just absolutely adorable. And so I wanted to put his face out there again because this is one of those cases that never really went viral because his mom and his mom's boyfriend were arrested so quickly, that it never left any room for people to speculate. It never left any room for people to hate somebody in his case. And so he's never gotten the attention or the following that he deserves. He's never gotten the awareness outside of his locality, um, that it needs. Which, mind you, the police force and all of the people in his neighborhoods, they are searching and they know exactly who he is. It's just not enough. He needs prayers. They need to find him. And he needs to be remembered, like it says on there. Hi, Ramblin'. Hi, Mama Bear. Hi, Lioness. So that's where we are, though. He is still missing. And so, again, Two Rivers, Wisconsin is where he is missing at. Okay. So the next case I want to talk to you guys about is about Whitney Hatfield. So Whitney is, let me pull this picture up. So this is Whitney Hatfield, and she is 16 years old, 5'6", around 150 pounds. She has been missing in Ohio since March 7th, South Salem, Ohio, since March 7th. They believe that she disappeared sometime between 1:30 and 2:30 p.m. of the last day that she was seen. She is missing under alarming circumstances, you guys. We're gonna watch a couple different interviews that her mom and her grandma have done at this point. Her mom has been going on TikTok, making videos, posting them on Facebook. They do have a Facebook page to help spread awareness about her. And Trevor Lee, that used to be Trev Time on YouTube, he has stepped back from YouTube because of the disgusting state of the true crime community. He has written a blog about her, and so I am going to pull up his Substack so that you guys can see this. One second here. Okay. So here is his Substack. Let me see if I can do it like this. Okay, so it says Ohio teens mysterious disappearance. And so we're going to read through this thing that Trev has written here. And then we are going to what did I do here? And then we're going to listen to a few of the interviews. In a lot of these cases, sadly, all we know is what the families put out. We're seeing that in Sebastian's case. We're seeing that in many cases. You can't, we have no details if the police don't give us details. We have no information if the police don't hold press conferences, if they don't put that information out there about the missing child. And this is where we're at in Whitney's case. It's another one of those cases where there's been really no media coverage. There's been no police press conferences. There's been nothing. She is just a missing teenager submitted as a runaway, and that's it. That's all we have. And so all we can do is take the parents' statements and go by them. We can listen to their statements, we can hear their pleas for help, and we can take a look at that and see what could possibly have happened to her. And then obviously share her flyers, share her face, and make sure that she knows that she is missed. Whitney, if you are out there and you are listening to this podcast or any of the other podcasts that your family has done, please reach out to home. You know, your family misses you. They care about you greatly, and they don't understand where and why you left. And if you're unable to get out, find some type of way to make a sign so that we can get so that help can come. It says the disappearance of South Salem teen has a family worried and searching for answers. Whitney Hatfield has been missing from South Salem, Ohio since March 7th, 2024. Whitney is 16. She was living with her grandparents in Alabama until around a month before her disappearance. She then asked to live with her grandmother in Ohio and had been there for a month leading up to her being reported missing. We spoke with Whitney's grandmother, whom she was living with when she was reported missing. Linda Lester tells us that they last saw Whitney around 1:30 p.m. on March 7th. She states we found a note stating she was going to live with a friend and babysit her friend's siblings. She stated she was going to have babysitting money and one of the parents was a doctor, and she knew these people and would be safe. Whitney's grandmother tells us Whitney also stated in the letter that she would contact the family when she could, but they later discovered a note asking her uncle to convince the grandmother not to call the police or it wouldn't end good. So what that means, who knows? Um, it's very concerning that she left a note saying that she needed the police not to be called. Where was she going? Who is this family that she was allegedly with? Who is this doctor? This this doctor, quote unquote, that she was moving in with. It's not a good situation. And the fact that she even requested to go live in Ohio, just randomly, it tells me that she might have been talking to somebody online while she was in Alabama and knew that Ohio was going to be closer to this individual that she was communicating with. That is just me, speculating, as to what could have possibly taken place, but I don't think it's a far stretch based on the fact that she is a 16-year-old girl. These predators who are preying on kids online, they're they're very scary. Whenever it comes right down to it, it seems like more and more of these teens are able to just vanish for months and or years at a time with no way to track them. Whatever platforms that they're communicating with, they're always these platforms that are unwilling to cooperate with police. We watched that in Kaylee Jones' case. You know, she was using Omegle, and Omegle would not give their records of their screen names and things like that to police. And so it's one of those situations where some of these platforms are perfect for these predators, and very alarming that there is no way to get the communication. But even if you're communicating via Facebook, even if you're communicating via Facebook or Discord or one of the more well-known names, guess what? It still takes months. On average, I think it takes like 3 months or so to get Facebook to respond to police requests. And talk about a missing teen with no evidence of foul play. How long is that going to take? How long is that gonna take for that evidence request? It just I don't know, it's disturbing. Yeah, it's easy to lose these teens. So it says that the family tells us that a ground search was conducted in South Salem, Ohio, including going door to door and checking any cameras in the area. Three different tracking canines were able to follow the path she took from the home that day until it stops in the middle of the road, indicating that she got into a vehicle. Cadaver dogs were also present and did not hit. Whitney's family has launched a social media campaign, including Bring Whitney Hatfield Home. It's a page on Facebook, as well as some videos on TikTok and Snapchat. The Ross County Sheriff's Department requested her social media communications on that day, and flyers are posted in 42 states. They are looking everywhere, everywhere. Oh, I agree, Emily. I would have totally left with somebody, especially as bad as my home life was. That's something we have to consider. People are all up in arms saying like, "Oh, well, what happened before they ran away, doesn't matter and you shouldn't look into things like that." But I think that plays a big part into why do some of these kids run away. Not every time is it going to be because a family is volatile, right? There are gonna be situations where they really do have a good home life, and there's nothing else going on. But I think having a I think a couple different things play into it. If there's any type of disability or lapse in judgment because of a disability, I think that makes them more prone. That's why we see a lot of autistic children leaving with people from online. Think of Alicia Navarro, for example. But then on the other side of things, if you do have a home life where it's a tumultuous home life and, maybe there is constant arguing or fighting or abuse of some sort or neglect, that lapse where there's this lack of love in the home, a lack of love. I think that leads to these situations where a lot of these teens, go looking for love in other places. And the society that we live in, we are feeding these teens at 10, 11. I mean, not even teens, children. We are feeding children a sexual diet from a very young age. Think about all of the commercials and the videos and the games and everything else like that. This sexually fueled um like content that they are constantly consuming, and the things that they are seeing is supposed to be love, right? That's what love is supposed to be, and it's just not reality, right? That's not reality. The things that you see on Hollywood, the things that you see on commercials or on TV or on music videos or whatever it is that you're watching, like that's not the reality of what love is. And so I think they get lured off in these false pretenses and these fairy tales, and they think that this fairy tale individual that they're talking to online is going to complete that missing void in their life. It's gonna fill that missing void so that they can feel complete, so that they can feel that love. Um, and the fact of the matter is, a lot of that void that I feel like personally that a lot of people in our world is missing, that emptiness that you're feeling inside, that peace that isn't filled, and personally, I think it's God. This country has gotten so far away from God. These families have gotten so far away from God that it leaves this empty void in your heart so that you're not complete. You're not whole and you're never going to feel whole. And no matter what you try to fill it with, if you're not filling it with God, you're never going to feel complete. It's always going to be there. She's been missing since March the 7th. Yeah, the fact that she didn't take things with her that were personal bothers you the most. You wonder if she thought she'd be back soon. Maybe, maybe. So that's just kind of where I'm at with things. But so they got flyers in 42 states. The family tells us they believe she was groomed by someone she met online when she was in Alabama. And the reason she wanted to come Ohio to live is because it was closer to whoever picked her up. And here you can find the Bring Whitney Hayfield Home Facebook page. So let's pull this up. So this is the Facebook page. I will give you guys this link here. And basically, they go down through and they have a lot of different information and videos that mom has done. Like I said, she made a TikTok pretty early on to try to get things out there. They've had some different prayer services for her that are out there, bunch of pictures and photos of her, the prayer vigils, the flyers, like everything that you're going to need is going to be in this one page. So, trying to look for mom's first video. So this is some of her family. They had her cousins make videos. Just trying to really get her face out there. So let me pull up. So this first one we're going to watch, this one is from Grandma. Give me a second here. So this video was made on March 13th. So this is very early on. Whenever she very first went missing, some of the different information that they were trying to get out there. Again, coming to social media, it's a bittersweet thing. It's a double-edged sword. I will always say that. But these families that try to come to social media, they're doing it because they need help. They're doing it because they want people to see their children's faces. They want people, they don't care what's going to happen, basically. They just want the awareness out there. And so, Whitney, this is how I know that your parents, your family, your grandparents, they care about you and they just want you home. They just want you home if you have that ability to get home.
Rescue 101 Search and Rescue. And today I'm here with Linda Lester, Whitney Hatfield's grandmother, who Whitney was staying with when she went missing on March 7th around 2 p.m. in the afternoon. So, Linda, we're going to talk today about Whitney and her disappearance and how it's affected your family.
Okay.
Can you share some fond memories of Whitney with us that highlight her personality and interests?
Whitney loved to draw. She loved to doodle and draw and write. She was or is a very fun-loving child. She's very bright, very bright. Loves to experience new things. Really kind of kept to herself. Other than she did like her electronics, like most young kids nowadays.
What are some of Whitney's favorite hobbies and activities that she loved doing when she had free time at your house?
Like I said, she loved to draw. She wrote in a journal. She was starting to get into, I believe it's Reiki and learning about the chakras and that sort of thing. She liked to research that kind of stuff.
Has Whitney ever talked about places that she would like to visit or a spot that she frequent that means a lot to her?
Not that I recall her ever saying that she would. And there was not anywhere that she would particularly want to go. She liked to experience. She liked to go places and learn and see things, but I don't remember her ever specifically saying somewhere specific she wanted to go.
Sure. How would Whitney's friends and relatives describe her?
Whitney, Whitney, she liked to, I don't know what time. She would, she was adaptable to who she was with. If she was with younger kids, she could play with the younger kids. If she was with older, then she, acted older. It just depended on who she was with. She liked the young kids. She would play with them. She was good at babysitting, good with babies, good with kids.
Are there any significant milestones or events coming up that Whitney was looking forward to?
So just going to pause for a second and say that whoever was talking to her must have known this because, again, one of the things that she wrote in her letter said about she was going to go babysit for this individual. You know, they were a doctor's family. She was going to go babysit for them. So again, you know, these predators, these people who groom children and prey on them, a lot of times I think take that time to get to know that child and then take everything that they're interested in, all of their hopes and dreams that they're aspiring to be, and then they use it against them. So I think that her love of children and things like that, they use that to get her to leave this home.
Whitney was looking forward to getting a job up here. She was looking forward to, um, she was going to work on a GED program. She was, those were the two things that we were looking forward to at the time of her going missing. Was we were looking at those two things for her. She was excited to, you know, start a new job. She had worked previously in her previous residence, but when she came to me, of course, she didn't have a job up here. So she was going to start looking out and trying to find something that she thought she would like to do.
Now, when you say looking for a job up here, Whitney came to you from Alabama about a month ago. That's correct?
That's correct. She sent me a text and said she wanted to come stay with me. And I thought about it and, you know, I said, okay, if you want to come, you can come.
That's what grandmas do, right?
That's what grandmas do. That's right.
So now we're going to talk about the questions and circumstances of her disappearance. Can you walk us through the last time anyone saw Whitney or the last conversation that you had with her?
I work night shift. So when I got home that morning, before I went to bed, she was up in the kitchen and seemed fine. There was no distress. No, you know, she wasn't mad about anything. There was no problems. We really didn't talk a lot because, you know, I was getting ready to head to bed. So I went to bed and then I woke up about 12:30 and I got up because I couldn't go back to sleep. So I got up for a while and I was sitting in the kitchen and my son was in there and Whitney came into the kitchen and we talked a little bit. She made a comment. I was eating something that she thought was odd that you would eat with ranch dressing, which surprised me because she put ranch dressing on everything. But you know, she made a comment about that and she was fine. Again, there was no signs of distress. She wasn't mad about anything. She hadn't been crying. She wasn't upset. So she went back to her room, and then about 1:30, I went back to bed. And her room is beside my room, and I heard her in there talking on her phone. And I said, Whitney, I'm going back to bed. And she said, okay, Mama. And so I went back to bed. I dozed off, and then at 2:30, my son woke me up asking me where Whitney was. And I said, she's in her room, I suppose. And he said, no, her door's open. She's not in the bathroom. I don't know where she's at. So we got up, looked around, and it's been a nightmare since.
Has Whitney ever disappeared before, even for a short period of time?
No, never.
The concern that I have, and I know that it's a concern that a lot of people share, is that she didn't seem to take any clothing with her. She didn't take any supplies, no makeup, no deodorant, like all of that stuff was still at the house. She took nothing with her except for herself. And the lack of taking personal belongings, like BC said up above, you know, it really makes you question, did she even intend to be gone for a long period of time? What if she was just meeting up with this person for the very first time? What if she was just meeting up with someone and was just gonna meet them in person because she was in love with them or something along those lines? Um and then she just disappeared. Yeah, she wasn't planning to be gone long. She was getting into chakras, which I don't know much about them. So, chakras means wheel and refers to energy points in your body. They're spinning discs of energy that stay opened and aligned as they correspond to bundles of nerves, major organs, and other areas where energetic body affects our emotional and physical well-being. So this is A Beginner's Guide to Chakras. And so that's something that she was allegedly getting into. Looks like it has something to do with, like, meditation and things like that. So anything to learn from the son her grandma is talking about. I'm not sure. We will hopefully hear more.
Hygiene stuff. She left behind, which is really surprising. She left behind a bear her grandfather had. It was his, and when he passed away, she wanted it, and so I gave it to her. She left that behind, which kind of surprised me. And then she also had a bear from when she was a child. It's old and its stuffing's coming out, but she treasured that bear. And she had a little unicorn that was in her crib when she was a baby. And her mom said she would never leave that. Anytime they were moving or anything, she would always hold on to those two items, especially the unicorn, and make sure they didn't get lost, in the move. And so she left those 3 items that I'm surprised she would leave.
The efforts to find Whitney. How has the community been involved in the search for Whitney so far?
We did a community-wide search of our town of South Salem where she became missing. The community has shown a great deal of support. They've shared our Facebook posts. We've gotten a lot of requests, questions. Have you checked here? Have you done this? Trying to help. We've had offers to put up flyers. The community support has been amazing.
What actions have authorities taken to help find Whitney?
Authorities, they have searched one residence they thought she might be there, but that was a no-go. But they're working. They've worked with the FBI yesterday. I know you and your team have put effortless hours, just amazing hours into searching and talking to people, and it's just been amazing the help that everyone has been.
Are there any plans for future search efforts currently?
Well, we're not searching on the ground as far as in our little town anymore. We don't believe she's there, but we're going to continue to search. We're not going to stop until we find Whitney. We're putting out flyers. We've got some news coverage. We're working on getting more news coverage. We are still posting posters, posting on Facebook, on all social media platforms, really. We're trying to get the word out there that hopefully someone has seen her, someone sees her, someone can, let the authorities know, I saw her here or she is here, and just get the word out there.
How can the public assist in the search for Whitney?
Like I said, we need a public presence. Whitney needs to be seen by the nation. Her picture, her flyer, her name, it needs to be seen by the nation. I don't believe that we can handle this locally. I think we need to go nationwide, and the public can share her posts, or post in Facebook, Instagram, wherever they see them. They could keep an eye out. They could, if someone wants to post flyers somewhere, we'll do our best to get them to them. Biggest thing is just communicate and get her into the public eye.
With that being said, how has Whitney's disappearance affected your family and her friends?
Well, my world has stopped. I haven't been back to work. Every day I'm spent staring at my phone, figuring out where I can post what, who I can contact, going out and posting flyers, whatever I can do. It's devoted to Whitney. And my son is the same way. Our world has just stopped. It's all about Whitney right now. We have to find Whitney.
Is there any message you wish to share with the public about Whitney and the importance of community support in situations like this?
Whitney's an amazing, amazing person. She has a big heart. She's kind-hearted. She's a little vulnerable. She could easily be persuaded, and I think that's been her definite downfall. I just want them to know that we need their help. We need help finding my granddaughter. We need her back home. We just need her to be, we need her face out there. We need help. We need the community, and we need the nation to help us. We need to bring this baby home.
How can people reach out if they have any information regarding Whitney's whereabouts?
They can contact the Ross County Sheriff's Department. They can contact the Rescue 101 SARS Inc. Their information is on her flyers. They can contact us through Facebook. I know our posts are getting out. They can just call if they think they see something, call their local authorities, and just share, to get her out there, get her picture out there, get her name known, make it a household name.
If Whitney is watching this video, is there a message that you wish for her to be able to hear during this interview?
Whitney, if you're watching this, please come home. We need you. I love you. We all love you. And we miss you dearly. And we need to know you're safe. I need to know that you're safe. Please contact us. You're not in trouble. I'm not going to be mad. Just please come home.
And the last question as we wrap up this interview, is there anything else you would like to share about Whitney or the search that we haven't covered?
Just that, like I said, Whitney's very vulnerable. She could be, she's a little immature for 16. So she could be easily groomed or persuaded by the wrong person. And Whitney has had, in her past, in her younger years, Whitney had a rough start to life. And that's why when she asked me to come stay with me, I said yes, because I wanted to make a difference in her life. And I wanted things to be better for her. And so I just asked if we could get help in bringing her back home.
I'd like to thank you for taking the time to talk to us today, Linda. This is Chief Surratt with Rescue 101 Search and Rescue. If anyone knows the whereabouts of Whitney Hatfield, please reach out to the local authorities. You can contact the Ross County Sheriff's Office directly, or you can message through Facebook or contact.
I don't know why they put that like really intense music at the end, but they definitely did. So that was her grandma. That was one of the first interviews. Again, March 13th, that one took place. Let me get this video from Mom. This is the first TikTok video that her mom had made. Here.
Hatfield. I'm Whitney Hatfield's mom, in case you've seen the pictures of her. So the point of this is to let everybody know she's not just a face, she's a person. Whitney is a pain in the butt, and she's headstrong, and she's bullheaded, and she's confused like any other 16-year-old child. But she's also amazing. She's friendly and kind. She loves everybody. She's never met a stranger. She's very helpful. She loves to draw. She practices eyeballs, hands, and the heart, because she says it's the hardest thing to draw. And if you can master that, you're a real artist. So she really loves that. Whitney's into the outdoors, and she loves her makeup and her clothes. And she has goals for when she's older. She runs through a lot of them. She wants to be a veterinarian because she loves animals. She wants to be an interior designer because she loves organizing. Her favorite things are tapestries. She's obsessed with them and hangs them everywhere. Whitney's not just a face. Whitney's a real person. And she's confused right now. And I don't know if she found somebody to be confused with that's going to keep her safe, or somebody to be confused with that's going to harm her. What I do know is we just want to know if she's okay. So Whitney, if you see this and you don't want to come home, that's fine. I'll support you, baby. Even if it's something I don't want to support, because I love you that much. And if you can't come home, I am with you. I'm sorry, guys. I am with you every second of the day. And I'm doing everything I can to try to bring you home if you're not safe. If you are safe, tell somebody. It doesn't have to be me, babe. It doesn't. Just anybody. Anybody that knows somebody that knows somebody that knows me. Because the only thing I want to know right now, sis, is that you're okay. You're not in trouble, Whitney. You're not. And you know, as long as you're safe, I'll do anything I can to support what you want. I just want you to be okay. I want you to be happy. And I just want to know that you're okay. So if you just don't want to come home, I'm fine with that. If you want to come home, I'm trying to get you there. And to whoever has Whitney with them, please, if you're keeping her from coming home, please just drop her off somewhere where she can get home safe. And if you're not keeping her against her will, then just tell her to let her family know what's going on. We just need to know. Sign our petition, guys. Share our petition. Reshare the pictures. We just really need to know what's going on with our girl. Thank you.
Just know that we want you to come home.
Okay, so this next one was done with Missing People in America. This one was posted May 13th. So this is probably the more recent. You got $5, daughters. This is your worst nightmare. 4 of them are in college. Yeah, it is. Not knowing is the worst possible thing, because you don't know if the person that she was talking to online had good intentions. You have no clue. And I mean, that's the only assumption that we can go with, is that she was talking to somebody who convinced her to move to Ohio so that she could be close enough for that person to grab her. Is it another teen, a young adult, like somebody 18 to 21, somewhere in that age range that she's just met up with? Or is it something like, some creepy 25, 30, 40, 50-year-old man? Like, we have no idea. We have no clue. And that's the scariest thing about it, right? You just don't know. And for her to not reach out at all tells me that there's a criminal element involved. If this was somebody in her age range, that wouldn't be illegal, because the age of consent is 16 if they're within 3 years of age in most states. If it's somebody who it would be legal for her to be with, I don't see any point in hiding. I don't see any point in her not reaching out. And so that tells me that this has a criminal element to it that, I don't know. It's just not good. It's not good. Yes, if they had good intentions, they would have her contact her family. It's just terrifying. My heart breaks for them. It really does. So here's this here. And then, of course, we're in Ohio. She is above the age of 9. She is just another runaway. Just another runaway, just listed on a flyer, just another face, just another story that we can click past and just ignore the fact that she ran away because she's just another missing teen. There's plenty of things in this family's past that you could probably pull up, dig up, and find to point fingers at and blame them and all the things, right? But that's not the point. They're begging for help. They're begging for somebody to give them assistance, begging for people to talk about her story and put her name out. Just share her face. Just share the fact that she's missing so that somebody can see it. Maybe even her.
Miss you. We love you. And if you cannot contact us, then just know that we're doing everything we can to get you home and get you safe.
I'm Ryan,
I'm Tessa.
and we are the co-founders of Missing People in America. And today we are interviewing the family of Whitney Hatfield. And who do we have the pleasure of speaking with?
My name is Linda Lester. I'm Whitney's grandmother.
And I'm Brenda Lester. I'm Whitney's aunt.
You can go ahead and tell us a little bit about Whitney.
Well, Whitney was pretty much your average teenager. Liked her clothes, liked makeup. She liked the outdoors. Whitney loves animals, absolutely loves animals, and all animals. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be a frog, or it could be a kitty cat, or it could be a snake. She loves them all. She likes to draw. She draws hearts and eyes and hands, because she said if you can draw those, then you're a true artist. Whitney is kind of shy when you first meet her. Takes a little while for her to warm up, but then once she gets to know you, she's pretty outgoing with you.
She's helpful.
She's very helpful, yes, and she's always coming up with these little trivia facts. Grandma, did you know? And I'll be like, no, I didn't know that, because she watches these shows all the time with facts on them.
Whitney is 16 years old, and she went missing in March
Correct.
of 2024 from South Salem, Ohio. She was originally living in Alabama, and she moved up here with you guys, and she disappeared roughly a month after she moved up there, correct?
Yes.
So go ahead and tell everybody the story about her disappearance.
I worked night shift, so when I came home that morning, I saw Whitney. She was fine. She didn't have any issues. She wasn't mad. She wasn't sad. She wasn't upset about anything. Just a normal morning. I went to bed, and then about 12:30, I got up, because I just wake up, and I got up, and I was sitting in the kitchen, and she came through, and we talked a little bit, and then she went back to her room, and about 1:30, I went back to bed. And I heard her talking on her phone when I went through to my room, and I yelled out, "Whitney, I'm going to bed. I'm going back to bed." She said, "Okay, good night, Mama." And I went back to bed. Then about 2:30, my son woke me up and said, "Mom, where's Whitney?" And I said, "Well, I suppose she's in her room." And he said, "No, the door to her room is open. She's not in there. She's not in the bathroom. And I don't see her anywhere."
Now we don't hear from her son at all. I don't know if it is BC, do you know if it's her dad living with this grandma, or is it a different, like, is it her uncle? I'm curious. Um, I don't know if we hear about or hear from him directly about any communications he could have seen from her leading up to this, or like what made him realize that she was just gone type of thing. Yeah, I'm not sure, Roberta. We'll wait and see if BC responds. She knows this a little bit. Okay, so it is her dad. So she's living with her dad at her grandma's house.
So I got dressed and got up, and we found a note that she had written on the living room end table. And in the note, she said that she was going to go with her friend. She was going to babysit her friend's siblings. That she would have babysitting money, and the family had money, and one of the parents was a doctor, and she would be safe, and that she would contact us when she could.
Now, so that makes it sound like it's a younger person. Whoever this person claimed to be, they tried to put themselves off as a younger person to her. So that's where I was at with like the 18, 19. Is it that age range? Not that that makes it any better that she's ran off and there's potentially a group of parents also hiding her. But that's weird. So I don't know if it's actually her dad, because in a minute, in the other interview she said about she had also, or in the document that we read from Trevor, he had written that there was a letter to the uncle, if you remember, asking them not to contact police. Okay. She states that it is her dad that they ate with before she went missing. Okay. All right. Wonder if he lives there also.
Um, so from there, that's where our nightmare began. The police came out and made a report, and we called the search and rescue. And then later on that night, about 4:30 in the morning, we found a note under my son's pillow that she had written to him, asking him to please talk me out of calling the police because it wouldn't end good. And then from there, we've done ground searches and flyers and what we can do.
So you had
So did this person get her to leave the house and told her, "Hey, if your family calls the police on me, I'm never letting you go back because I can't get in trouble for this. Like, I love you, come be with me, come do all the things, but if they ever call police, you can never speak to them again because I don't want to get in trouble for this." I'm curious what her communications online and stuff are going to show. But grandma also said she was on the phone, right? And so they're not going to be able to track her actual voice conversations that she had with this individual. How often was she having voice conversations? What platform were they utilizing to do it? Clearly not via a phone number that is traceable, because otherwise police would already know where she is. I don't know. It sucks. The whole situation sucks, because I can't stress enough. Please look into who your children are talking to. No matter what age they are, look into that information and make sure that you know who they are. Um, Check all of their apps, check all of their different devices, because you never know what type of app can be hiding these types of conversations. There are apps that look like a game on the surface that hide chats, that hide conversations with these predators. They're constantly developing new things to mask and cloak what they're doing. It's just sad. Unless he doesn't live there but just ate there, unless you just misunderstood it. Yeah, so I know that's the uncle that had the note under the pillow. And so I don't know. I don't know if it's the dad or the uncle that was there that afternoon.
the K9 team come out there and search and rescue, and what happened with that?
The first time they brought one dog, and they took the dog around our little town. It's only like a little over 200 people, small village. And they picked up her scent, and it led to our school.
Yeah, Seal. She lived in Ohio for a month prior to running away. She made it to Ohio though. She lived there for a whole month. And then they talk about the scent dogs actually followed her path to the road, where she likely got into a vehicle.
On our library there in a little town that's connected. So it led to the library, and the dogs were at the door like she'd gone inside. So that would have been on Friday. On Saturday, they did ground search and had 3 different canines come out And this time they took the canines to my home and started there. And from there, they tracked her track, the route she took. She walked between our properties, like the back of my property and the back of the neighbor's property. She walked that property line up until she came to an alley. And then she walked from the alley up towards the school, turned and walked past the school. In front of the school, there is a abandoned house. And we've learned that if you sit on that house, you can pick up the school's Wi-Fi. So she sat on that porch for a little while. And then she went beside the school is an old cemetery. So from there, she went back into that old cemetery and she went all the way to the back of the cemetery. And Brenda drove back there after we were searching. And from back there, you could see cars coming in either direction. You have a very good view of what's going on around you. So she sat back there in the back for a while. And then she came out of the cemetery, but she used the other exit, the one farthest away from the school. She came out that exit and started to walk up Old Westfall Road. And from there, when it goes into the first curve of the road, the dogs lost her scent. And so they believe she got into a car at that point. And they had three different dogs confirm the same.
So that's crazy. So I'm not even going to necessarily play the whole story again, but she walked a pretty decent distance from the house to go get on Wi-Fi outside of the home, all the way down here at this stop, and then hid in the cemetery or behind the cemetery for a little while, and then walked up the road and got in somebody's car. So somebody was obviously, in my opinion, communicating with her and telling her exactly what to do, exactly where to go. Did they tell her even to go to that cemetery? Is this somebody who lives in that area and is familiar with this area enough that they were able to tell her to go into that cemetery and where to meet them on the bend of the road, where they know there's no cameras, right? Because there's no house. There's no Ring doorbell cameras. There's no cameras going to be looking right here in this corner because there's nothing there. There's nothing there. It's all strategically planned. All strategically planned, in my opinion. And I doubt a teen would have thought about that. I doubt some 19, 20-year-old would have thought, oh, hey, go hide in the cemetery, go down there, get on that Wi-Fi, go hide in the cemetery, come out the other entrance where we know that the cameras won't be looking from the church, and meet me on the corner of this road where there's no houses and no cameras so that I can pick you up and you can get into my vehicle. Yeah, looks like woods. This is not good, you guys. This is not good at all. Who knows who picked her up, but I do not have good feelings.
3 different dogs confirmed the same.
And she had a phone, but you said it was a track phone that did not have cell phone service of any kind, and that she took that phone with her.
That's correct.
And where do you believe that she met somebody using a social media app?
I do. I believe she met someone. Like you said, Whitney was originally from Alabama, was living in Alabama and came to stay with me. And it's my belief that she met someone online and was groomed from Alabama to, I think the plan was to get her up here closer to whoever she's with.
Right.
Whoever picked her up.
Her excuse to come up to Ohio was
Yes.
a very sad death in your family.
Yes. Her grandfather had passed away. My partner for 30 years, and he passed away in July. And she told her mom that she felt bad that I was up here and she wanted to come up here. And since Papa passed away, she wanted to come up and be a help to me and be company to me. And that's what she told her mom why she wanted to come up.
And at the time, she wasn't doing very well in school, as you've said before, and she was working on her GED.
She hadn't actually entered a GED program. That was the plan in our area. They had kind of stopped some of the GED programs because of COVID, but they were looking at starting them back up. So I told her to get her name on the list so that it would be local and we wouldn't have to, because we're a very small area. So, we didn't want to have to travel real far if we didn't have to.
And she'd been in the area before. You said she would come up there in the summers.
Mm-hmm. the family would come in and visit, and she'd stay for her, all of the kids stayed for a while. At one point she had lived with us in a camper on our property while they were getting their home ready. And so she was no stranger to my home. But what she didn't do is she wasn't out like among the out in the community. You know, she wasn't out walking around and that type of stuff. You know, she stayed
Or
pretty
to
much at
meet
home. Yeah, she wasn't out to meet people, is what I'm saying.
Well, I think the train of thought there is to think that she met someone local is kind of not the thought that we have, because she never got out and socialized in the community like that to make friends like that. So to think that it was someone local that she may be with is kind of not where we're at in our thinking.
Right. And then as you had mentioned, she wanted to come from Alabama to Ohio. And so your thoughts are that whoever she met is in that region.
Yes, that this was at least closer to them. You know, Alabama's pretty far down there. And Ohio, you know, come to Ohio, you know, if it's 5 hours closer, it's.
And we did have the guy from New York reach out to us,
Mhm.
that he had spoke to her multiple times through Snapchat, and she had talked to him about things, personal things with her. So I knew that it was from her because what she said, nobody else really knew. So he knew these things, and he was, you know, talking, and he said, well, I met her on Snap. And he's an older person, like older man. Might as well say.
Now, did the police confront this person? Or
So that's terrifying to me. We know that she was talking to at least one older man who came forward as soon as they seen that she's missing and stuff like that and volunteered their talking. That's scary to me. Not necessarily that he has her, but the fact that she is having conversations with older men and confiding in them. I'm just mind blown. And again, though, Snapchat is one of those platforms that to get the communication records from Snapchat, it's dang near impossible. Unless she was saving her messages, it's dang near impossible. There's too many platforms that these children can go on and talk to these creepers and just talk to anybody. I don't even like I'm mind blown. We had a situation, we joined another Temu group to kind of do games and stuff like that with them. And I know a lot of you guys don't care about my Temu stuff, but we ended up leaving that group within just a couple days because the lady in the group was talking to teenagers, messaging teenagers on Snapchat to click the different links. And I was like, whoa, I am not comfortable. I am not comfortable with that. She was talking to 3 different teenagers to get them to click her link and different things like that she had met through Snapchat. Like, no, absolutely not. She's 40-some-year-old woman. It just was not comfortable. Not okay. She had screen recorded some of the messages to try to prove to us that these teens were real, and we turned it into the local law enforcement where she was because it's just not okay. Right? I don't think that teens and adults that you do not know, that are not familial connections, I do not think that that's appropriate in any way, shape, or form to be contacting children via social media that has no connection to your family, no connection to you. That's not okay to me. I don't care how innocent you claim the conversations are. It's weird and it's not okay. Period. Yeah. Maybe if it's a family friend, I guess that would be the only not familial connection, but even then, I think I would still be uncomfortable even if it was a family friend. Like, why are you messaging with my teenager? That's not okay. No, you have something to say to me, you can say it to me, but you don't need to be talking to my teenager. Period. That's it, that's all. So that was a whole situation. But yeah, so she's talking to at least one grown man. Oh no, BC.
Did he openly reach out to you guys?
No, he openly
Yeah.
reached out to us.
So he saw the flyer, or maybe saw
Yeah.
that she hadn't been active and started
Okay.
researching it and realized that she's
Yeah.
missing. Okay.
We talked about this before. She's not the one to just leave a note and leave and not tell anyone.
No, she'd never left her home, and with her parents, she'd never left, and then she'd never left our home either without somebody knowing.
When she left, she did take her toothbrush and shampoo and conditioner and some.
Yeah, she took some personal skincare items. Her shampoo and conditioner were out of the shower. I believe she probably packed this stuff in a bag, a black bag, because she brought stuff in, like personal hygiene stuff, in a black bag, and I haven't seen that black bag around. And a witness that saw her said she wasn't carrying anything, but she looked thicker than in the pictures. So we think she had like a backpack or whatever underneath her jacket. So if she took clothes, I wouldn't know because she had so many and so much shoes, but I don't think she could fit much in that bag if that's the bag she had.
So when she left, there was actually a witness that saw her walking down the road.
Yes. Yes.
Now, we talked about you guys getting access to any of her phone or social medias, and you were able to get into her Facebook, but there wasn't really anything in there.
That's correct. The police at first, Facebook denied the request, but they finally were able to get into it through a warrant or a subpoena or whatever it is, and they were finally able to get into it. But the sheriff's department's telling us that there's nothing there to help. So I'm pretty sure she was probably on Snap, where everything just disappears.
Right.
How long did it actually take for Facebook to actually answer the request?
Oh, it took a while because it probably took a good week and a half after they got the subpoena.
Wow, that's
Yeah, it wasn't quick because, and the way the officer explained it to me is, she's considered a runaway, so she's down here. Then you have abducted up here, so they're going to go with the abducted first, and they go in line of, like a order of urgency, I guess.
right.
So she would have been below anybody who was abducted.
Well, and I mean, odd fact, we counted it up last night, and just in Ohio alone, there's been, since Whitney went missing, as of the date yesterday, 232 missing kids out of Ohio.
Yes.
It's crazy.
It is.
Yeah, there is a lot of missing. 64% of all the missing are under the age of 18, and they like to mark a lot of them off as runaways.
Yes.
There was an Amber Alert. Tess, you want to tell them about that one?
That was, I believe, last Friday. It came out as a runaway that she left the note. She managed to turn her phone off turn on her phone at one point and text her mom and dad that she was abducted and that she was forced to write the note. And they ended up finding her a state or two away in a motel. And once they got that text, they upgraded it to an Amber Alert, which that Amber Alert took more than an hour to come out.
Now, Whitney's note, they had that analyzed, and they're 80% sure it's her handwriting. Not saying she wasn't forced to write it, but her handwriting seemed to change. Actually, additional samples to evaluate because her handwriting changes so much from one document to the next. But they're 80% sure that was her handwriting.
Now, her parents, they live in Alabama, correct?
Correct.
How much have they been involved in her missing?
Well, her mom came up from Alabama. Let's see. She went missing on Thursday.
Okay, so not her dad, because they just said her parents live in Alabama. So that was not her dad that was with her. It was the uncle.
Her mom came up. She got up here. I think it was the following Monday evening. She stayed in, I think it was Loveland or somewhere up and down and around Cincinnati with family. She was there. And then I don't know, she was here probably 10 days, you think, or so, and then went back. She notified team, the Center for Exploited and Missing Children, and worked with them on Team Hope, and did some things there. And then we had the search here, locally doing search here.
And you guys have been doing a lot of outreach from what you were telling us earlier.
Oh, we're trying.
Tell us about all your outreach that you've been doing.
Well, we started a Bring Whitney Hatfield homepage on Facebook. That's where we pretty much keep everybody updated. I don't remember her.
Did we mention when she moved up to you from Alabama?
Whitney came to me, it was in February. I believe it was like February 7th or 8th that she arrived in South Salem. And She was here, and then she disappeared on March 7th. So she was just here a month.
And you said she was really eager to come up there.
Yeah. When they asked me about it, I had some things I had to get in place. I needed to think about it because, you know, I'm older and I wasn't sure I wanted to take on a teenager, and had some things I needed to do to the house. And so it took me a while to hem all around and decide. And she was kind of like urgent, you know, Mama, you know, when can I come? Or what do you think? Am I going to be able to come? It was more urgent. She was getting more urgent about it. So I said, go ahead and, you know, come on up.
And her biological parents are the ones that live in Alabama.
No.
That was asked.
No, actually she's adopted. Her adoptive parents are from, well, she was originally in Alabama, and that's not, I'm sorry, let me start over. She was originally from Montana,
Okay.
and that's where her adoptive parents were living when they adopted her and her two brothers.
Okay.
Okay. Since then, they moved to Ohio to be near dad, or my husband, be near her dad. And then, so they lived in Circleville for a short time here in Ohio. And then from here, they moved to Alabama. So her biological mother is in Montana, and I'm not sure about the father.
Did she have any type of relationship or communication with them at all?
Her mother, the biological mother, was on her Facebook.
Do you believe
Mom.
that she would want to take her back at any point, whether it be willingly or not?
I don't know. I don't know her,
Yeah.
but it was a pretty bad situation
Tough
that
question to
Whitney
ask.
came from. But Whitney has a distorted sense of that period in her time. When she talks to her brothers, she talked to her brothers about mom doing this and that and that. And from what I understand, mom didn't do this and that and that. So I think she has I don't know if she wants to believe it or if somehow she's gotten things twisted around. You know how it is when they're little, you don't know what they're, but she talked well of her biological mom at one point. Now I haven't heard her say anything about her recently.
Does her biological mother know she's missing, or
She does. I reached out to her.
okay?
And so does her biological brother that they did not adopt.
Yes.
There's one more brother that they did not adopt.
Were they shocked by it, or did they, kind of seem calm? Like,
All she said to me was, I messaged her because I was going through Whit's Facebook and stuff, and so I texted Linda and I said, who is this person? And she said, that's her biological mother. So I messaged her and I said, have you heard from Whitney? And she said, I am aware that she is missing. And that was her conversation with me.
I am going to assume that police looked into biological mom to see if biological mom has her. That's going to be my assumption. I don't think that going to Ohio would make it closer for somebody in Montana to come get you. Necessarily. It's pretty much same distance, I would think. Custodio. Never even heard of that. I'll have to look into that. Yeah, Ohio, everybody's a runaway. Everybody's a runaway. They don't look for nobody.
oh,
Yes.
that's kind of odd.
And we actually called one of the police up there in Montana to do a well check.
Right.
But she had moved. She wasn't at that address anymore.
Mm. And you don't know anything about her communicating anything about this to any of her friends or anything like that?
No, the only thing we know is that her mom, she had an ex-boyfriend in Alabama, and she has a friend down there. And Missy, her mom said that the sheriff's department was supposed to send someone out to talk to those two, but according to her, it didn't happen. And so Missy went over and talked to the ex-boyfriend, and he said he had heard from her at some point, and that she said she had a boyfriend, and that's all he knew. He couldn't remember his name. And then the other one, the girl, I don't think anybody ever talked to her.
Okay.
Now, when we say Missy, that's Michelle. Because,
Whitney's mother.
Whitney's mother, Michelle Hatfield. We call her Missy.
Is she very active in her missing, or is she just like laid back? Like,
I haven't seen a lot put out.
We haven't physically seen her since Whitney went missing.
okay.
Yeah, she came to Greenfield, which is right outside of where I live. Greenfield's a
Where
little
I
bigger
live.
town. Yeah, and did an interview with the rescue people, but I never saw her.
I got a community question for you. I know we've asked this before. Does she have computers, iPad, etc.?
The only thing she had was her phone that has never had service on it. And then she had an iPod, an older iPod. And search and rescue took that iPod, but they couldn't find anything on it.
Right. And this was
Yeah.
a track phone. And we talked about something earlier that you can look into.
Now, do the police have a subpoena or something to ping that phone if it ever turns on?
They said, well, what they told me is when we were waiting on Facebook to give us their records, they said, once Facebook gives us those records, if we can get them, then we'll have her address to the device, whatever it's called.
Yeah, IMEI.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll have that. And then if she uses it, then we'll be able to, ping it. But then after they got into Facebook and I asked him about it, I said, now you said that you'd be able to track it if she used it. And then he goes into, well, if she's on Wi-Fi, it's going to depend. It's just going to show where she's at the time. And I'm like, okay, that's better than blind.
Right.
We're just not getting a lot of help. We're just not. I don't feel like this case has been a priority with the police, the sheriff department. I just don't think she's a priority to them.
This is Whitney.
And so this happens, guys, in a lot of these cases of these missing teens. If there's not public pressure on the police departments to look for specifically for Whitney, they do what they are required to do, and that's it. That's all. And it's not necessarily because the police departments don't care, but it's because, like she said earlier, there's 242 missing teens in Ohio. The police resources are just not there. They're just not there to actively search for every single missing child. This is an issue all over the United States, but I will tell you that some of the states are worse than others, like Pennsylvania, Ohio, California. These are spots where a lot of teens go missing, but nobody looks. Nobody looks. And it's just devastating. And so this family, they're doing what they can to try to come active on social media as much as they can to try to get this case to have that public pressure on these police forces to, hey, let's take a month and focus specifically on Whitney. Let's take a couple weeks and specifically focus just on Whitney. So that they can hopefully find her location and figure out where the heck she is. A lot of these cases rely on public or private investigators and things like that, but private investigators don't have the resources that places like the FBI or the police do. They can't necessarily get these phone records, and not all the time do police communicate with the private investigators. So it makes it, that much more frustrating. But we're watching cases like Sebastian Rogers blow up on social media because of the drama, because of the hate back and forth, because some people want to attack Seth, some people want to attack Chris, and it's a constant back and forth. But then we have cases like Whitney that because the family is not publicly fighting, there's no story. There's nothing going on. I can assure you that you could probably dig into every single person in this family's background and find something to talk about. Does it help? Does it help in these cases? Does it help get the stories out there? Does it help get her story talked about, to get her face seen? How do we do that? How do we get her face seen and people to care about her case so that there's more than 20 people in an audience? Without the drama. Without the drama. I don't know. If somebody figures it out, you tell me, because we've been trying. For 2 years, we've been trying case after case after case after case after case. If there's no drama, nobody cares. Just keep sharing. But then she's just another flyer. She's just another flyer. She's just another face. She's just another story. Until she's found, right? If she gets found and it turns out that she's with some sexual predator or that she was being violated, or that she's being trafficked, or that something horrific happened to her, if something horrific happened to her, bet every channel will be covering her. Every channel will then care about her story once she's found. If she's found deceased, oh, that much better, right? That much better if she's found deceased. It's frustrating. It's very frustrating. So, I don't know. This is where we're at. If you have a creator that covers cases for you, try to get them to talk about Whitney, even if it's just to put her face out there, even if it's just to share her flyer, because something's going on very wrong in this case. This was too organized and too planned. Her path out of the home, walking several blocks away, getting on Wi-Fi at from an old church, going and hiding in a cemetery. Going and hiding in a cemetery until a vehicle arrived to pick her up on a corner where there's no cameras at all. What teenager thinks to do that? What teenager thinks and worries about a camera's presence? I'm extremely concerned for how close she is to the highways, the main trafficking highways. It does, Annie Lou. It sounds like this person has done this before. Very, very planned. Very organized, and I truly, truly am concerned for Whitney's safety with the fact that she has not reached out to any friends or family in 2 months. In 2 months that we know of, she has not accessed or utilized her device at all. Where is she? Where is she? Don't cover her after she's found. Don't cover her after she's found. So, all right, guys, I'm going to get off here. I got to go to work. I will talk to you all later. I love you guys. Thank you all so much for being here. And hit the like button and do all the things. Have a good night. Bye.